Hello, everyone. This is DNS Lab that I am doing. Uh, Before doing the lab, we do some configuration. First of all, we do ping 4224 to know that we have ping. Okay, that's okay. And always be sure that you have changing your host name, so you can do it like this: sudo nano etc host name. For example, I'm gonna change this one to Hamid. So that's like a prerequisites for doing all labs that I'm doing here. So then you can reboot your operating system. So then your host name will change. So the labs that I'm doing is DNS lab, and I'm doing a step by step this lab. So log into Ubuntu, and then yeah, I have here my username. Do you see that? So because you want to do all the commands as a sudoer, so then you do sudo -s. So you do it one time, and then you're sure that, okay, your user is sudoer. So then you don't need to put sudo in front of all commands. The first command that we have is ns lookup vcc.ca. So that gives you that IP address of VCC. So if you do it with host.vcc.ca, so then it gives you that these IP addresses, right? So if you do it with digvcc.ca, so this one has more detail and give you more information like a record, but the result is the same as this one and this one, right? So a step 2 of a lab is asking like this. So if you want to ask like ns lookup vcc.ca for 4.2.2.2.4. So that means that you're asking 4.2.2.4, what is vcc.ca? What is the record of vcc.ca? So it gives this information like this IP address is resolved. So 35 AM 183 240 163, and yeah, the other 199 79 105 132. So I'm asking this server. It was not localhost. So then I can do this command with dig, like dig @8.8.8.8 vcc.ca. So this time I'm using dig command. I'm using this server. I'm asking this server what is vcc.ca, right? So if you do many times, then you see that usually your query time should be lower, right? Because you have local cache usually. But if you don't have a local cache, you can enable it. We're gonna do it in next step. App get, so we are on first step of installing bind. So app get install bind 9 and bind 9 utils. So then you're gonna install bind 9. So you know that etc configuration, the configuration usually it will save under etc. So switch to etc bind, and there here, if you do cat named .conf, this file contains the information of your local DNS and the zones, right? So they can set this one, name.conf.option. That's the first one. So I do nano to edit that one, nano etc. I'm in etc bind, so then I do it name.conf.option. So you see that here we have forwarders, And also here we can enable recursive. That recursive actually enable the cache. I'm going to do it at the end of here, basically, recursion, and then yes. Don't forget to put semicolon at the end of that. Control X will save it, and then yes, we'll save that on the file. So now if you do service bind 9 restart, it will restart the bind 9, right? Do now dig at localhost. That means I ask localhost, what is the IP address of google.com? So basically, in 84 milliseconds, it will respond and resolve this IP address. So if you do it many times, look, the second time is going to be 0 milliseconds. So the query, when we monitor the query time, this one is going to be lower number because you have a local cache. I explained this kind of a thing during the course. And the step 5 is asking you to do to enable the forwarders. So then you can do it like this. If you come back to name.conf.option and enable the forwarders, so you basically you're enabling this part, uncommenting this section, and do 8.8.8.8, 8.8.8.8, and then Control X save. So then if you do service bind 9 restart, and now if you do dig, for example, my website, talabi.ca, so you see that 88 milliseconds resolve this IP address. If I do it many times, sorry, if I do it the second time, you see that 4 milliseconds. So the thing is that we enable forwarder, and now our like query goes to 8.8.8 and asks 8.8.8 about resolving Talibi.ca. Step 1 of configuring zone. So for configuring zone, we have named.conf.local. So which file it is? This file, right? So I'm gonna edit this one, named.conf.local. And you see here, we don't have any zone. I can create zone. For example, I create a forward lookup. This 2// is a comment. That means that we are not executing this part of our command. So I create a zone, my zone, and then type of zone, I create a master zone, and then I have a file, etc. So I haven't created this database, but I'm going to create later. etc bind and db dot my zone. So I close this and I create a reverse lookup. So again, this is like a title for this section I am putting, and is a comment. So zone. So you know that this one basically was 192.168.1. So in reverse lookup query is going to be 1.168.192. And then in address dot rpath. Okay, and then you open this one, type master and file etc bind db.1.168.192. Okay, then you close this. So I created forward lookup query and reverse lookup query. Step 2 is, so I'm gonna save this configuration. The step 2 is asking you to copy from local and 127 database. So basically you have two databases, this one for the reverse lookup query and this one for forward lookup query. So I'm gonna copy that one like this, cpdb.local, and I'm gonna write it to db.myzone. And the other one, cp.db.127 db.1.168.192. That means that now I have created two databases. Look, now I have two databases. One of them is this one, and the other one is this one. So both of them now um, I can create my own record and customize record. So I'm gonna go to first one for forward lookup query. That's a database, nanodb.myzone, and here there are many things that I explained during course. So here, when you're changing your because this is like a template from local, so you should change it to my zone, and this one also to my zone. And then serial number, as I said before, if you're changing this file, it should add, it should be more than 2. So you can change it, for example, to 3 and 4, any number more than 2. So that's for this part. And based on the document, you should create some A records. So basically this part, NS1, you can create a name server record like NS1 dot my zone. For the A record, you can put the IP address. These are sample IP address 192.168 192.168.1.1, and then we are not using IP version 6. We are using another IP address, for example, 142.192.197.60 for NS1. So I put here for um, NS1, and for host one, host one, I put here in, and then A, and then put here 192.168.1.60. Okay, so that's my customized DB for my zone, right? Then I'm gonna edit also the database of reverse lookup query. So db.1.168.192. So basically this one also should be my zone. So we have configuration this of this one under step 4, root dot my zone. And the serial number, because there is 1, I'm going to change it, for example, to 4. And what else? So we have to add here our NS for reverse lookup query, my zone always. When you're using reverse lookup query database, so you're using PTR record. So I forgot to add NS1 here also, NS1.myzone. And then here we have the last octet as 60 PTR, and then host1.myzone. Host1.myzone. Okay, then Control X and save that data. If you have done correctly until step 4, so then if you do RNDC reload, basically you should receive error. So let me check, for example, here from this one. Yes, so you see that I have error here. So then if you copy this part, basically it will tell you that, okay, I copied again. That's a good example how to troubleshoot if you face any error. So you see that I have um, failed name service start request to quit too quickly, failed result exit code, and let me see that above this line. Um, so here you see that uh, etc name.conf line 15 missing semicolon. Okay, so we should come back to that one to resolve the issue. So I'm gonna come back to nano etc bind and then name.conf. Sorry, basically name.conf.local file, local file. So which step we missed semicolon? Line 15. So one of these lines doesn't have the semicolon. If I compare with you see that this line, forgot to put semicolon and also this one. Let's save it and then do RNDC reload, reload. You see that again, we have failed. Let me see that what is the error again? Maybe we have an error, or maybe we should uh, reload the database. Still is saying that that line missing semicolon line 15 before the zone and include. You check it carefully. That one name.conf.local. So here I think type master file etc bind is correct. And also this part is correct. Yeah, I don't see any error. Let me restart my service to see that it works. Service bind and restart. Yeah, I don't have any error. So if I do RNDC reload, you see that now server reload successful. So it was like a semicolon that I forgot to put it. So step 6, verify your configuration. So you can do dig outside local host, my zone. So basically you should have this result. So basically my zone should return 192.168.1.1. And if you do dig outside local host, host 1.my zone, this one should return 192.168.160, which is correct. And this is mapped to host 1. Dot my zone, that's the second screenshot. And dig at sign localhost -x 192.168.160, which is reverse lookup. -x is for reverse lookup query and should return your PTR record and should map to host 1 dot my zone. Look here, forward lookup query host 1 my zone is 192.168.160. When you're asking which IP address is 192.168.160, then it should return dot host 1 dot my zone. Okay, so then we have a split DNS with bind, which that part I'm gonna create nano named.conf.local. I'm gonna create here another zone. For example, zone talibi.ca, right? So then under here again, type master. Also, I'm gonna create a file for database, etc. This time I'm gonna um, put semicolon. I'm not gonna forget semicolon at the end of this line, db.talibi.ca for that one. And look, say you put curly bracket and then semicolon. Okay. Uh, it's very sensitive. If you forget any part like this double quotation or semicolon at the end of this line, you receive error. But I show you how to troubleshoot. So then if you do, now we need a database. cpdb.local db.talabi.ca, right? So I copy local database to talabi.ca. Now if you nano db.talabi.ca, look, now we have this sample database. So I'm gonna customize this one. So this local host should be talabi.ca. This part also should be talabi.ca. Serial number, you should add more than 2, like 5, for example. Then NS, for NS, I put NS1 at Talib, NS1.talabi.ca. And for a record, for example, I put a sample IP address 142.232.197, 27, the same as the document. And for NS1, so this part, basically, you put 142.232.197.60, and then for www in a record, you put this IP address 142.232.197.250. Okay, so basically, if I want to show you what you're doing here, look, if you do look ns lookup talabi.ca, I did it, talabi.ca. So basically, my IP address is 174. 208.236.171. I'm faking this record. I'm putting this fake record, and like someone is sitting here, or this IP address can sniff the traffic. So if you do service bind9 restart, and now if you do dig assign localhost, that means ask localhost, what is now www.talabi.ca? Look, it will return 142.232.197.250, which is not similar to the IP address that we have. So the real IP address is this one, but fake IP address that we got is this one. So if you also ask this way, talabi.ca, you also have 27, which is not the real IP address. Okay, that's the difference, the result that you get for step 5. All right, this is lab 5. I'm gonna see, sorry, this is lab DNS, and I'm gonna see you in the next lab.